A classic Sicilian defense classical variation Antizocin variation emerges in French Top 16 Club Championship 2025 a pole round 3, setting the stage for an intriguing battle. On e4. On c5. Knight f3 transposed into Sicilian defense Old Sicilian. Knight c6. Bishop c4. On d6. On d4. On takes d4. Knight takes d4. Knight f6. Adhiban is preparing to play. Knight takes e4. Bishop takes f7 check. King takes f7, and secure a strong hold in the game. Knight c3 played by Maurizzi. Queen b6. Threatening queen takes d4. Knight b3 played by Maurizzi. On e6. Bishop e3. Threatening bishop takes b6. Queen c7 played by Adhiban. On f4. On a6. Bishop d3. On b5. On a3. Bishop b7. King castled kingside. Bishop e7. Queen f3. On h5. On h3. Rook c8. Queen f2. On h4. Rook a d1. Knight h5. Knight e2. Bishop f6. On c3. On e5. Bishop c2. King castled kingside. On f5. Maurizzi is preparing to play. Queen f3. Knight f4. Knight takes f4. On takes f4. Queen takes f4. Knight e5. Queen f2 and dominate the board. Knight e7 played by Adhiban. Queen f3. Threatening queen takes h5. On g6 played by Adhiban. Threatening knight takes f5. Queen g4 played by Maurizzi. Maurizzi wants to play. On takes g6. On takes g6. Queen e6 check. King g7. Knight c5. Rook cd8. Knight takes b7, and secure a strong hold in the game. King g7 played by Adhiban. On takes g6. On takes g6. Bishop g5. Rook f7. Bishop takes h4. Rook cf8. Adhiban is planning to play. Bishop c8. Bishop takes f6 check. Rook takes f6. Queen g5. Queen a7 check. Knight bd4. Knight c6 and take decisive advantage. Knight g3 played by Maurizzi. Threatening knight takes h5 check. Knight takes g3 played by Adhiban. Bishop takes f6 check. Rook takes f6. Rook takes f6. Rook takes f6. Queen takes g3. On d5. Knight d2. Rook f4. On takes d5. Bishop takes d5. Queen e3. Knight f5. Threatening knight takes e3. Bishop takes f5 played by Maurizzi. Rook takes f5. Knight f1. Maurizzi might go for. Rook takes d5. Queen c4. Rook d1. Queen h4. Knight g3. Rook g5. Knight e4. Rook f5. Queen e1. Queen f4 and dominate the board. Bishop b7 played by Adhiban. Knight g3. Threatening knight takes f5 check. Rook f4 played by Adhiban. Rook e1. Maurizzi is aiming to play. Queen takes e5 check. Queen takes e5. Rook takes e5 and establish a winning position. King f6 played by Adhiban. Rook e2. On a5. King h2. On a4. Queen a7. Maurizzi considers playing. Knight e4 check. King f5. Queen takes b7. Queen takes b7. Knight d6 check. King e6. Knight takes b7 and increase their advantage significantly. King g7 played by Adhiban. Queen e3. Maurizzi is aiming to play. Queen takes e5 check. Queen takes e5. Rook takes e5 and dominate the board. King f6 played by Adhiban. Knight h1. Rook e4. Queen f3 check. Rook f4. Adhiban might go for. Bishop takes f3. On takes f3. On e4. King g1. On takes f3. Rook d2. Rook f5. Rook d4. King e6 and increase their advantage significantly. Queen e3 played by Maurizzi. Rook e4. Queen f2 check. King g7. Rook d2. Rook f4. Threatening rook takes f2. Queen g3 played by Maurizzi. On e4. Rook f2. Maurizzi intends to play. Queen takes f4. Queen e7. Knight g3 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Rook f7 played by Adhiban. Rook takes f7 check. Queen takes f7. Queen e5 check. King f8. Knight g3. Queen d5. Queen b8 check. King e7. Adhiban wants to play. On e3. Queen c7 check. King e8. Queen takes b7. Queen takes b7. Knight e2. Queen d5 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Queen a7 played by Maurizzi. Queen c6. Knight f1. Queen a6. Threatening queen takes a7. Queen takes a6 played by Maurizzi. Bishop takes a6. Knight e3. King f6. King g3. On g5. On h4. On takes h4 check. King takes h4. King e5. King g3. Bishop c8. King f2. Bishop e6. Knight f1. Bishop c4. Knight d2. Maurizzi is planning to play. Knight takes c4 check. On takes c4. King e3. King f5. On g4 check. King e5. On g5 and increase their advantage significantly. Bishop d3 played by Adhiban. King e3. Maurizzi considers playing. On g3. Bishop c2. On g4. Bishop d1. On g5. Bishop h5. Knight takes e4. Bishop e8. Knight d2, and take decisive advantage. King f5 played by Adhiban. On g3. Bishop c2. On c4. Threatening pawn takes b5. Pawn takes c4 played by Adhiban. Knight takes c4. Bishop d3. On g4 check. King g5. Threatening bishop takes c4. Knight d2 played by Maurizzi. King takes g4. Knight takes e4. Bishop b5. King d4. Maurizzi is looking to play. King c5. Bishop f1. Knight c3. King f5. Knight takes a4 and establish a winning position. King f4 played by Adhiban. Knight c3. Threatening knight takes b5. Bishop e8 played by Adhiban. King c4. King e5. King b4. King d6. Knight takes a4. King c6. Knight c3. Bishop f7. King a5. Bishop e8. On b4. Bishop d7. On a4 victory for Maurizzi after a hard-fought battle, Adhiban resigned, conceding the game.